Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
I was in a deep rut. Most days I'd just scroll through social media, watch the same old comfort shows, and feel the walls of my apartment closing in. My only real company was Mittens, my fluffy ginger cat, who mostly ignored me. That's how I found Cedric's workshop, tucked away on some obscure digital archive, a relic from the golden age of public access TV. It was a charmingly low-budget affair from the early 90s. The host, a man named Cedric, looked perpetually bewildered, with a patchy beard and a tweed vest that probably smelled of sawdust and old glue. His show was simple. He'd sit at a workbench, patiently demonstrating how to make simple hand puppets out of felt, buttons, and yarn. His voice was a gentle drone, his movements deliberate. It was quaint, almost meditative. I'd put it on in the background, a warm, fuzzy analog blanket against the cold digital world. Then, about 2 weeks in, I noticed something odd. Cedric was making a new puppet. He held it up, smiling faintly. It was a ginger cat with one ear slightly bent, just like Mittens. My heart gave a little skip. Coincidence, I told myself. Mittens was curled up on my lap right then, oblivious. It was just a cat. Lots of ginger cats with bent ears. But the next day, it wasn't a cat. Cedric was assembling a puppet with long, dark hair, wearing a worn blue hoodie, my blue hoodie, the one I practically lived in. Its felt eyes were wide, and something about the way its mouth was stitched gave it a perpetual look of mild anxiety. My anxiety. He held it up, and for a fleeting second, his eyes, Cedric's eyes, not the puppet's, seemed to lock directly with mine through the grainy screen. My stomach twisted. I called my friend Lisa. "You're spending too much time online, Harper," she laughed. "It's just a puppet. They make generic puppets." She was right, logically, but the feeling of unease clung to me like static electricity. The puppets kept coming. One day, a miniature replica of the chipped mug I drank my morning coffee from. Another, a tiny, intricately detailed version of the sparse houseplant on my windowsill, its leaves starting to yellow. The more specific they became, the more Cedric's on-screen demeanor shifted. His smiles grew strained, his gentle voice occasionally cracking. Sometimes he'd pause, mid-sentence, and glance uneasily over his shoulder, as if someone else was in the room with him. Then he'd resume, slightly breathless. The worst was when he started making a puppet of my ex, Royce. It was unmistakable, the messy brown hair, the particular slope of his shoulders. Cedric carefully glued on a tiny, fake engagement ring. I felt a cold knot in my chest. Royce had proposed, and I'd said no just a few months ago. How could Cedric know that? He wasn't making general puppets anymore. He was making my life. I scrolled through the archive player, frantic. The upload dates were always fluid, almost random. Some were from last year, some from a few weeks ago. But then I noticed a pattern. The episode date displayed on the bottom corner of the video frame was always, without fail, exactly 1 month behind my current date. If it was October 25th for me, the episode would be dated September 25th. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just an old archive. This was a live feed somehow, always a month in the past. And I was watching Cedric's torment, knowing things were about to happen to him, or were already happening to me that he was then recreating. One night I saw him struggling. He was hunched over his workbench, his hands shaking as he tried to sew together a particularly grotesque puppet. Its limbs were too long, its head misshapen, and its eyes were hollow buttons. It looked like a tortured, broken version of me. His voice was barely a whisper now, raspy with what sounded like fear. It wants to be seen," he choked out, his eyes darting to the corner of the room, exactly where my bookcase stood. He started to cry, silent tears tracking through the dust on his face. I typed frantically into the archived comments section, a futile gesture I knew, but I had to try. "Cedric, what's happening? Who is it?" Of course, there was no reply. The comments section was dead, a graveyard of forgotten internet queries. The next episode, dated exactly a month ago today, was the last. Cedric was gone from the workbench. The camera was slightly askew, facing the back wall. On the workbench sat the grotesque puppet, its button eyes staring vacantly. Slowly, carefully, a pair of disembodied hands reached into frame, not Cedric's. They were bony, pale, with long, trembling fingers. They picked up the puppet, smoothed its misshapen head, and then gently, deliberately placed it inside a small, empty wooden box. The box clicked shut, the hands vanished, the screen flickered, then went black. I spent hours scouring local news archives, cross-referencing Cedric's full name, Cedric Scales. I'd seen it on a blurry title card, with the address visible in the background of a few shots. I found it. A local puppeteer, Cedric Scales, reported missing exactly 1 month ago today. No trace, no leads, just an empty workshop. The stream is gone now. The archive link leads to a 404 page, but the puppets, I keep seeing them in my periphery. The ginger cat with the bent ear, the anxious girl in the blue hoodie, the chipped mug. I keep thinking about the empty wooden box and the hands that placed the last puppet inside. I wonder what they're making now, a month into my future. I don't know what I saw or what I became a part of. All I know is the quiet doesn't feel safe anymore.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.